runner's knee, the most common injury in runners and very common in triathletes. And when it comes to managing this, our goal is always, how do I make this stop hurting whilst maintaining my fitness, not losing any of my progress? And really, in the short run, yes, pun intended there, the focus initially is to get this to calm down, and that is going to help you maintain your fitness without losing any of that training that you've had. And that calming down is not your good old traditional brace, ice, rest. We've got new ways of managing this, and that is what I'm going to take you through today. 6 evidence-based things that actually help runners' knee in the short term. So number 1, smart load management. And this really is key, okay? So you need to adjust your training so your symptoms stay at a 3 out of 10 or less. And what this can look like for you is reducing your overall weekly kilometers of your running, swapping out hills and stairs for flats. That is a really big key one. And subbing in some low impact work. So this means that in some of your runs, you could definitely use your lever to help minimize some of that impact to decrease stress on your knee. That is a really helpful tip. So you want to look at the bigger picture here. Often when my tip number 1 is load management, people go, no, but I really don't want to stop running, or I don't want to change my running. But you do have to look at the bigger picture. Shorter changes now mean greater improvements overall, and it means getting rid of this so you don't have to take an excessively prolonged time off later. Now, tip number 2, or the thing that works number 2, is consider taping. Taping can reduce pain, but this is a short-term thing, okay? Generally, there's a taping called McConnell's taping. It is more traditionally done to glide your patella, so your kneecap, more medially to help it track a little bit better. But research shows that taping that just helps your knee position and is individualized for you can really help your symptoms short term. And this is really helpful because what that means is that when your symptoms are decreased, you can train a little bit more, you can do more of your rehab, which I know everyone is going to do. And it's really, really effective, especially in the first 4 weeks. This is short term. You don't want to be taping it forever. But my key here as well is that make sure it's taping that suits you. And once you figure out how this taping works, which generally will be guided by your physio, your healthcare practitioner, make sure you get them to teach you. Watch what they do, get them to teach you so you can apply it yourself. Taping generally works via mechanical support or sensory input, so it can be really helpful. And braces and sleeves are generally a no. They don't have the same support in the research. We don't want to use those. They don't reliably improve pain or help with that patellar alignment. Moving on to tip number 3, which is gait retraining. So this can include increasing your cadence or your step rate by 5 to 10%. This is generally really quite helpful in athletes who have a lower cadence, not those whose cadence is already normal. Well, relatively normal. So if your cadence is around 170 to 180 steps per minute, I would say, do you know what? This may not be the most effective thing for you, but if yours is substantially lower than that, I would definitely consider trying this. In fact, one study showed that participants with runner's knee showed an 81% pain reduction after 6 weeks of doing cadence retraining, where they ended up increasing their cadence by 7.5 to 10%. So huge benefits here. You could also try a little bit of a slight forward lean from the trunk or try and change your foot strike pattern to have a reduced heel strike. These may help, but these are really only helpful if your baseline is a little bit more abnormal. So I would really make sure you set up a video, have a look at your gait first before you consider implementing these. Give them a try. You want to apply them gradually, but they may be really helpful for you. But of course, every athlete is completely individual. So you really have to check there. Now, strength and rehab, I do call this the main event. This is hand in hand, shake hands, with our training load management, okay? And really key. First of all, you want to understand why you're doing your exercises. Your exercises should always progress, and you can modify any exercises to suit your symptoms. You don't have to push through pain here. You really just have to suit your symptoms. Your program should be hip and knee focused. So this means focusing on your hips, your hip abductors and external rotators, and your quadriceps. This is really, really important. And in the short term, like I said, we don't want to push through pain. So you can start with things such as an isometric wall sit, where you're just sitting on the wall. You can play with the range. You can change it to single leg. Being careful with the range of your more loaded squats. So you can do squats, keep them out of deep flexion to start with. And then you can also do some isolated movements. Again, just being aware of that range and making sure that they suit you. Your hip strength is exercises that focus on your hip external rotators and abductors. So you really want to focus through your glute med and your glute min with some movements like a clamshell, a hip bridge, bridge with external rotation, or a standing clamshell. These are all fantastic options and they are a must in your rehab program. The next big tip for you, tip number 5, is understanding and education. Research consistently shows us that if we include training load management, strength training, and understanding what is happening with your body is the best thing to help you. Pain doesn't equal damage. This isn't downplaying your symptoms, but it means that pain is a normal response in this particular injury. And if you do have a little flare up, it doesn't mean that you've done any damage. It's okay, and this will get better if we be smart with these things. You're not ruining your knee by staying active. In fact, you were doing the opposite. Staying active is a big part of the fix. So you really want to understand your injury, which is the point of these videos, and build up that confidence, because that confidence is going to build consistency, which is really going to help you. My last tip is orthotics and footwear. And again, this is completely individualized. So prefabricated orthotics can be really helpful and they can help your symptoms in the short term, but only alongside strength and training load management. You can't just go get orthotics, expect them to be a magic fix. In fact, research shows that the prefabricated orthotics are actually just as, if not better, than custom orthotics. Okay, so you can just grab some good ones off the shelf that suit you. Now, minimalist shoes or low drop shoes do decrease load through the knee. However, research showing that decrease in load, that if that actually translates over to decreased pain during running, just isn't quite there yet. We don't know, but you can definitely have a little play around with your footwear and again, see what works for you. So they are my top 6 tips when it comes to looking after your runner's knee. Next up, I'm going to take you through how you can completely manage your runner's knee, get it to go away and keep it gone away for good. I'll see you in that next video. Definitely use it earlier in your training. This will hopefully help you get back to your running a little bit faster. No, not running faster, but get back to running faster. And it will help you maintain your fitness and help you doing the same movements as well. So that's why I really like the lever over, say, for example, aqua jogging. Build your volume first. So use this to build up to about a 30-minute continuous run. Then you can start to consider adding intervals. And if you are going to include intervals, I would definitely do those using the lever as well. So then you're getting that cardiovascular fitness there, the same movements because you're on the lever with less impact. So it sort of enables you to get that little bump in that fitness with less risk and less load through your body. I would also, if your treadmill allows it, do your first bit of heels work if you were going to consider that with the lever as well, so you can decrease a little bit of that load too. Of course, with this, you want to make sure you're maintaining your natural cadence or even increasing it if it's applicable to you. And like I said, I would definitely use it when you're practicing any form of gait retraining as well, just to help you get used to where those loads are going to go without making other muscle groups sore. Because remember, when we change something, that load has to go somewhere else. So you don't want to end up overloading anywhere else. And that's where your lever will help, because it removes a bit of that overall load. Definitely you definitely need to make sure that you still monitor your pain though. It doesn't give you a free ticket. You still have to use my 3 out of 10 pain scale there. Make sure you're not pushing past that. So I hope that this mini series has clarified a lot of things around runner's knees for you. You should have all of the tools that you need now to help you understand your injury and move forward. Of course, always seek a healthcare professional to suit you, but I really hope that you've gained something from this video and definitely consider using a lever in your rehab program.